Life on Earth has a beginning and an end. It's what you do in the middle that counts. Let's look at how to make that part even better.
So in today's episode, we're going to focus on what is on the other side of self-improvement. That's right. So you've been studying self-improvement, personal growth for a long time. Hopefully, you've been putting the applications in and your life is looking 100 times better. If you haven't, go to episode 1 and you know what to do. But here we are. So, what is on the other side of self-improvement? By now, you've achieved so much, you've succeeded in so many ways, and hopefully you're not spending as much time in the self-improvement educational space. Because one thing that you'll find is that your point of view, your perspective starts to change. You start to realize what it takes in order to be successful. New stuff will constantly come across your desk, and you'll be thinking to yourself, wow, this is a new technique. But on closer examination, so much of it is just repeated, and it's just the same thing dressed up a little bit different. And this is extremely common when we use other medias. Like, for example, myself, I read those 1,000 books initially, and then I'd hear the podcast come up, and I'd listen to dozens and dozens of podcasts, and then the YouTube things would come up, and I'd listen to hours and watch hours of videos on content until I started to realize that so much of it is repeated. But that's okay. You can start getting new perspectives, and you can see how other people have brought the material into their lives. Occasionally, and I must say, if you study this stuff for a while, occasionally you'll get new techniques, and then you can implement these along with any strategies and start to make further changes. But one good thing is that when you realize that the best stuff out there is the stuff that you're already doing, you know you're in that top 1%. Secondly, if you've been doing everything correctly, you'll notice that not only you're more successful and happier from where you used to be, but this has led to that concept called compound success. Initially, it took so much drive and so much energy just to get that win, but now wins are coming your way all the time. Looking at past episode, looking at the Huntsman technique where we set traps and so make it that other people can find out they've had compliments. You've got lines and lines of people that have benefited from you, and suddenly you're getting positivity back from that. Not to mention, you've made great improvements in your career pathway. You're getting paid more money. You've made improvements in your hobbies, and you're getting rewards for that in whatever way they come through. And when you start to pick up something new, it's much easier because you can rely on the techniques that we've been through in the past. So the compound success is absolutely huge. And it's kind of the lazy man's guide to self-improvement, because if you think about it, when you started, it took so much to get there. But now these wins are coming all the time. Just remember to reflect on this, keep moving forward, and watch these easy wins compound. And another thing is, if you have internalized the system, that is, if the system you've got together is something like the system that we talk about in the Alpha Dude system, it's a system approach so that it's all encompassed. Some people, they've read so much self-help, but they're kind of scattered. They know, I should do goals. All right, I shouldn't watch too much social media. I should be positive. I should meditate. I should have gratitude. I should be aggressive. I should be successful. I should be powerful. All of that stuff is going to be flaky. And that's where most people fall apart. And that's actually why I got together this system. I put it all together in the book, Personal Upgrade. You don't have to get the book, but the basis of these podcasts is on that book, Personal Upgrade, available at Amazon. Essentially, it's a system approach. It looks at the human mind, realizes how many bits of information it can take, looking at how the neuroanatomy works and how we can process things and chunk things into certain regions, subsequently making it easy for you to apply the things that we've learnt into your everyday life. And best of all, it becomes automated with a period of time. So if you're finding that wherever you are, you're getting some wins now and then, but it's really haphazard. And then you're going between, oh, I should be focusing on loving more. I should be focusing on being more powerful now. Oh, but what about the gratitude? What about the journaling? What about whatever new comes out? Chances are you haven't systematized it. If you can do it yourself, amazing. Make sure it's complete. The lazy man's way, listen to something like this and get a total system approach. Now, as I said, reading over those 1,000 books initially, I found it very hard to find an approach that was really well systematized. And that's why I came up with this system. The closest thing I would say has a system to it would be maybe the habits, Stephen Covey, the 7 habits of highly successful people. It has 7 habits, and if you follow them, you'll be fine. But on its own, it is lacking in many departments. So I have great faith in this system, and I hope that you find some benefit from it. But even if you don't, just make sure that you have a system in place so that it's easy and that you can rely on it when you need to. And finally, when we compare ourselves to where we used to be and see where we are now, we should notice the absolute differences in our lives, and they should be massive. They should be clear, they should be evident, and they should be powerful. And when you see that, you have to realize how far you've come. Once you've internalized these changes and realize that you've become a role model to yourself and probably a role model to other people, and really deconstruct this and see how far you've come, we start to factor in metacognition. We think about our thoughts and we think, wow, I am just a different person. And one thing that really successful people sometimes do is talk to themselves in the past. Now, obviously, the person in the past is not there, but it's just an incredible exercise to show from where you are, how far you've come. Sometimes you can go back to when you were young, when you were struggling, and you can say, hey, don't worry about it. I've got this. We've got this. Look how far we've come. All those goals you've wanted are achieved. It's that amazing process that continues to feed into yourself. You've become the hero. You've achieved, you've unlocked the goals, and now you're ready for the next step. Speaking of which, the next step has 2 different pathways, and I'm going to be talking about that in the next episode, so stay tuned.
Hope you enjoyed the podcast. If so, rate it from the place you downloaded it. For any questions, send an email to michaelpulser@gmail.com.